Hey y'all, and welcome to Watch Cheryl Scrap for the November session. Today is Thursday, November 4th, and I'm going to be scrapping tonight with a kit by Soco, and it's so cute. Look at the little animals.
I scrapped with that one. The wood
Did
camera.
you?
It was the wooden camera that sold me on it, and the
Oh
word
yeah?
art about trees. Like I need to be in the trees.
Yeah, yeah,
It's little green word art. I'm like, I can't remember what it says, but it's the two pieces and right there. I'm at home among the
home among the
trees.
trees. Yeah. Okay. I get that
Sorry,
also
distracting.
that also caught my eye. So I'll just kind of flip through this for y'all so you can see what I'm pulling from. And we'll put this back over on the other screen.
And then guess what?
And what?
One of the journal cards has a John Muir quote on it. So I like totally had to use it because I thought that would be funny.
Oh, I haven't looked at those yet. Hang on. I did get those. I don't.
I
Into the forest I go to lose my mind and find my soul. Is that the one?
No, there must be two then. Oh no, maybe that is the one I used. I can't even remember anymore. It's been a
Right.
day.
Okay, so I'm flipping back to 2017. We went to Georgia, uh, near the Blue Ridge Mountains. So we went to see these falls. I wanted to see a waterfall while we were there, and here it is. It does not look very exciting because there had not been there been a lot of drought conditions. I guess it was really dry. So normally they're much more active, but
So were you disappointed or were you still excited you went?
I was still excited I went because this was, like 6 weeks after my spinal cord stimulator was put in. And
Mm.
but the hike was a little bit more than they let on online
I
because we were,
hate that.
yeah. So Jay was so sweet, and he carried this folding chair all the way up. And every time I was like, okay, I just can't go anymore, then I would sit down. All these people are passing, looking at me like, I'm like, continue
Aww.
on, like I was royalty. Continue on.
Nothing to see. Nothing to see. Keep moving, peasants. Keep moving.
But yeah, so you can see I'm pretty happy. That's part of the little water that runs down.
Your
Um,
hair is so short there.
oh my gosh, yes, very short. And here's me in the chair with my
I
phone
love it.
with my
I
phone in the special pocket that all women have.
I just I just love that you have that nice selfie of yourself. It's like, I'm good. I'm happy here.
Yep, yep. So we did take a selfie, family, and this was before I lost 40 pounds. Um, so you can see it like around my face and stuff.
I was
Um,
gonna say, see, I never want to say that because it sounds so rude if you're like, I think you look lighter now. Because if they haven't lost weight, then you feel kind of bad putting that out there.
yeah,
I'm like, I always
yeah.
kind of wait for somebody else to say something. I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, you know.
And then check out Daniel. He's a totally different kid now.
Yeah. Well, even
He,
Olivia looks young.
oh yeah, he's
Like
he
she's
looks
still got,
pretty.
yeah, she looks gorgeous, but she's still got a little bit of like the I'm not quite an adult yet in the face.
Yep,
So,
yep, yep,
yeah.
yep. Okay, so I was thinking I would go because I asked Jay to take pictures for me because that's when I was still using my big girl camera. And so, of course, he gets down and gets these shots like this.
Those are so pretty. I love shots like that.
Yeah, so
They're
like this one
gorgeous.
here. So I thought I really liked them. But then again, like you said, I like the tree shots, but I have already scrapped some of these tree shots.
Olivia's like, I was 20.
I was an adult.
You can still look less like an adult. Renee loves the water motion photos, and Jan says we have all kinds of old buildings like that up here. I love them. And hi, Sharon and Jennifer. I think you're the only two that came in while we were chatting. Welcome.
Hello, is that Jennifer Little Kiwi?
Little Kiwi. Yep. I'm glad you finally got in.
And who was the other one? Sharon?
Sharon Stegner. I don't know if I know that name.
I don't know either.
So feel free to introduce yourself.
So as we're leaving, I'm like telling Jay, slow down. I want to take a picture of this random person's house, but it's got all the rust on the roof and, you know, I don't think anybody lives in there, but it's got some dilapidated shed, but
it's cool looking.
Yeah. But it was pretty.
I like the one across the booth.
Across me. He's like, I'm like, what do you want me to take a picture of? Just take it.
Yeah.
I'll grab it. But yeah, it was kind of neat coming back down. I love this shot here, but it's so dark you can't really see you can see it better here.
Oh, you know what you can try? You can try the new Lightroom masking.
Oh.
It is like fabulous. I had it do it on a person just for fun, and it like totally captured their whole outline and moved on. Salt and vinegar.
I have not done the update yet for Lightroom. I did get Photoshop done, but not Lightroom. Yeah. Do you know why we took a picture of this, Courtney?
I have no idea.
Another Office reference. You must not have watched this one.
I just forgot it.
This is when Jim goes and meets Karen, the one he dated when he and Pam are apart, and he was supposed to be her boss for the day, make sure she got her work done, and she couldn't get any salt and vinegar chips, hers salt and vinegar chips, and so he calls around and finds the chips for her. So we had never heard of hers before, and so we were at this rest stop and we were like, oh my god, it's the salt and vinegar chips. So I'll have to describe that before I forget what.
I adore that.
Okay. All right, Cheryl, hush and pick a picture.
Jan says there's a little square shed in one of the fields up here that has no roof. The windows are broken out and there's a tree growing up through where the roof used to be, and it changes with the seasons. That would be pretty to see. We have well, we don't anymore. We used to have a church, and I happened to move here right as they started to pull it down, where a tree had grown up through the belfry. So it has this like wonderful abandoned look to it. But it was a problem, and it was too much to try and restore it as much as they wanted to. So they ended up tearing it down and putting in some housing. But so I took some pictures of it shortly before it all got torn down, not knowing it was getting torn down.
Right.
I was like, oh, okay. But it's always interesting to see how nature likes to prevail. There used to be this show that we would watch called Life After People. And it never talked about what happened to the people, just what would happen to the different things in the world. Right. And it showed like nature overtaking things. And they did it based on science. Like obviously it wasn't a science show, but based on science, these are things that would happen. So it was really interesting to watch. Interesting.
That's a little warm.
That is really pretty.
Okay, so I'm going to use that one. And
do you find Lightroom tends to little warm most of your photos?
You know, sometimes either that or it's way too blue.
Yeah.
It'll do it. So, I don't know.
I just noticed, I'm like, I like auto sometimes, but there's a lot of times when it just, way too blue sometimes, but more often than not, it goes way too warm for me.
Warm. Yeah.
And I'm like, it makes every single photo look like I took it in the perfect mid-afternoon light. I'm like, maybe that's a feature.
Right.
And I'm like, I hate this feature, but maybe that's supposed to be a feature.
Okay.
Look, it looks like you got the golden light every single time. Nope, that's
Nope.
not me.
Okay, I'm gonna reset that one because I'll use this one over here instead.
I like it. It's funny, I don't usually see you agonize over which photos to choose. Usually you're like, okay, these photos and out.
Okay, so like this one, when I do the auto,
Mhm.
it's barely changing it. Oh, I know why. Because it's not, my other ones are from Nikon, the
Oh, and this is a phone
raw
photo?
files. Yeah, so
Yep.
that's why it
Yep.
did that.
Yippity doo dah. It's
Yeah,
funny how
because
that
I
works,
bet
huh?
when it does here, it'll warm it up a bit. Let's see.
There was a discussion in the forum a couple weeks ago about purses and like how
Yeah,
do you decide your purse and blah 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 blah. And I don't know that I ever responded to it. I intended to, but I don't think I ever ended because it was a busy time when it was posted. And I was thinking, I was like, my criteria for a purse is that it holds my DSLR. I don't know how many other people have that same criteria, but that's mine. It lets me carry my DSLR fairly easily. Yeah, that's kind of a weird criteria. I know a lot of people don't carry their, as you call it, big girl cameras anymore, but I
right.
do.
Okay, and I think I'll use that one. I do tend to go for threes.
Me too. And I
I
don't
do,
know if it's because I have a ton of photos, but I am very rarely a one-shotter unless I only have like one photo of that moment. What about you
okay,
guys?
so one, oh, actually I've got four this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's go, Cheryl.
Ooh, Renee says she has to have pockets in her purse so she can carry her small camera. So I'm not the only one who demands my purse also works as a camera case. I like it.
Well, now really, okay, and just in case you wanted to see what File Explorer looks like, yeah, it's different. It feels different, way different up here, and
It's part of it, I think, is it's missing all
it's,
of the like dividers. Like it's trying to go for that
yeah,
modern nothing here look. And I don't
right.
know that I like that. I'm like, I pulled up mine to
Okay,
see what it looks like in
okay.
comparison, and I'm like, yeah, it's the menu at the top. Like I kind of like the condensed menu that I have still. So
83, 78, 81.
Jan says hers has to carry her iPad. That's a good criteria. I'll be honest, being able to carry my DSLR means it can carry pretty much anything else that I need. But I remember when I used to have to carry a diaper bag and there were so many things to it that it had to have in order to work for me. Yeah, my current one has
Crazy.
a crossbody strap too, Olivia. I like it that way because I find I prefer to wear it crossbody.
Okay, I'm not crazy. It exported them, right?
I thought so. Weren't you just looking at them?
1, 2, 3, 4. Mm,
Jan says she loves all the close-up photos of the leaves by the creek. So you know what I'm going to say about that, Cheryl?
what?
I think it's a perfect reason why you should hand the camera off to somebody else on occasion because you
Yes.
get their viewpoint. Because I don't know if you caught it, Jan, but those were actually photos that her husband, Jay, took. And so those were some of the photos that he likes, is all those close-ups of the creek and stuff. So I agree with you. I like them too, but it's fun to hand off the camera sometimes. And like I've handed it to my kid, and to see what he chooses to do is really interesting. Like when he has the camera and control of what pictures he wants to take. Unfortunately, a lot of them end up being my butt, which is annoying, but
This is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, there's that one. And is this one 283, right? Yes. And I think 78. Yes. And then this one from Jay. Lord have mercy. That was very difficult.
yeah. Renee says her iPad flaked on her, so she replaced it with a smaller tablet that she uses when there's no electricity, like
Why
tornado
can't I drag
warnings.
it over anymore? Are you
Oh, that?
serious?
Wait, what?
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh
why
no.
is it telling you no?
I don't know.
Okay, you can copy it. It just pretended you were going to do it. Oh, are you going to have to file open each one?
No, it's working. It just seems to be taking quite a long time.
So Livy says she hasn't had that issue. She's on the new Photoshop. Are you on the new Windows 11 though? Nah, I think that's the issue because I haven't
Yeah.
had that issue either.
Okay, so I had to have it open and drag it from a second screen for it to work.
Oof. Oof.
So let's see.
Jan says she's been trying to
Okay.
get close-ups of things like the frost in the morning. I should try that. We've had some frost here too, and I haven't thought about it, but we still have like really pretty colorful leaves on the ground. And I bet the frost looks really pretty on the leaves. Jennifer says she loves the BYOC. It's amazing. She wasn't sure she'd want a lot since she doesn't do a lot of fall nature kits, but she shouldn't be surprised that she loves what Soco made.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah,
pretty.
it is. I really like it. I was surprised because of the color scheme too, and I was like, huh, but it's really cool. I like it.
Come on, Cheryl.
Renee's yard had some frost the other morning where the shade is. Ours is across the street for the most part, which is where it's pretty wide open field. So I think it just happens to collect or doesn't have as much heat as near the houses. So, which I'm okay. Keep it up north. I'm not ready for, I mean, I guess it is November, but I don't want a cold, cold winter.
Okay, so why don't we try and across the page and see where I'm going to go from there.
See where I'm going to go from there.
Right?
You sound so confident. Let's just try this and see where I end up.
Well, I feel like it's kind of been a mess tonight. I'm usually
We'll stumble
more
through it.
together, a little more together, but okay, I think I'm going to try this card because I think that's super cute.
What's really cool is frost on spider webs.
Okay,
But you
so
know, that
that'll
would
be my,
require me getting close to a spider web. Just saying.
okay, I'm going to use that as my little segue or movement from the two places. And let's get us a piece of paper in here before anyone has a
Conniption
bit.
fit.
Yeah.
That makes sense, Jen. I kind of understood what you were saying, Jennifer. She scrapped with Soco's already, so she shouldn't be surprised that the rest of BIOC is just as amazing. Yeah, I agree with that. But there are times when I'm like, am I going to like this? And then all of a sudden you just catch one or two kits and you're like, oh yeah. And then you start to see it all and you're like, oh yeah. It's fun. Frost on bushes is cool. Okay, I could do bushes. Now, you guys realize this means, number one, getting up early because frost melts pretty fast. And number two, going out in the cold? Like, are we crazy people? Let's just think about this for a minute.
We are crazy.
Renee's like, that's a problem for me as well. Good, it's not just me.
Okay, let's just grab this.
Yeah, I have a mum, Jennifer, that somebody gave me, or Jan, that somebody gave me, and unfortunately, it is dying because there's a spider living in it that has decided to kind of overtake its leaves and stuff. So there's like little spider webs everywhere on it. And I feel bad because I really liked the plant, but I'm like, I don't know what to do now. There's not much you can do with a plant that's dying because it's got a spider living in it. Because I can't see the spider, so it's not like I can just kill the spider. But that leafy paper.
So cute, right?
Yes, that was Olivia. That leafy paper. Cheryl, cold plus early morning equals a big old nope. Oh, yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm up because my child has to go to school that early, but that doesn't mean I'm truly up. Are you guys using just like a regular camera? Are you using something to, what do I want the word for? Macro. Like macros or, good gracious. I do not have words tonight.
No words.
I have
No
no words.
words.
They're just like gone out of my brain. Renee's using her big girl camera with like just a regular lens or something specific.
Okay, so I'm going to extend this without making it bigger by duplicating it. Get some little thread there.
Oh, I thought you were doing it to the paper. And I'm like, oh, that's funny because that's the same thing that I do. If I want it to be like a really small pattern, I'll just like do 2 pieces instead of 1. And I'll just make one really small. Cheryl was whining the other morning because her car was covered in an icy skin. It's due to her early in the season for ice.
Like, what?
Oh. Her car had ice all over it. An icy skin. Or are you talking about your Photoshop?
No, I'm just talking. It's crazy, but it's,
Yeah.
in the 50s here right now.
Oh, that's like
Yep.
my high for the day, not my low at night. Jennifer says, given my tagline under my username, it's safe to say I'm not a morning person and I'm not a huge fan of Frost, mainly because she has 14 stairs outdoors to go down before she's truly out, and they get frosty in the winter.
Oh.
But you're coming up on spring and summer. You're coming up to the better season in that sense. It's the rest of us that have to suffer through winter up here in the northern hemisphere. Renee doesn't take photos with her phone because they're always blurry. I don't find them always blurry. I just don't like them as much typically. But I will do it, especially in a pinch or if I'm in a spot where my big curl camera probably wouldn't be as welcome. Or I will admit, I did phone photos for trick-or-treating because I didn't want to carry my camera around, plus try and control the dog, plus have to take care of the kid because my poor husband ended up working like all night. And so I'm like, I ended up just giving up on the big girl camera for that and just taking the phone. So I was like, something's got to give, and that unfortunately was it. Yeah. I was kind of bummed.
I've loved having my Google Pixel. That thing takes amazing photos.
Yeah. My phone takes good photos. They're just not as good as my DSLR.
Yeah. I do have to admit, I
really
pretty much stopped
at this
using
point.
But I have the mirrorless, so it's even small. I just haven't pulled it out to use it.
Jan says she uses her phone most of the time because it's easier than pulling the camera out. And Renee says her hands shake with her phone because it's so light. That totally makes sense. Cheryl mostly uses her phone nowadays. And Jennifer is looking forward to being out of lockdown.
Yeah.
But spring and summer has been locked down. And looks like, so 90% double vaxxed is when you guys get out of lockdown for sure. Is that correct? I think I've been kind of following that online with you. And she says that'll be early mid-December. So that's still another monthish. Still another monthish away.
Oof. Come on.
Yeah, I don't mind my phone camera, and that's why I was okay with it for trick or treat photos. But I noticed that my phone camera likes to drop the ISO really fast, if that makes sense. Like, so I'll end up with super high ISOs that I really don't need, and then my photos start to get a little bit grainy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, I realize ISO is not always, I just don't know what the other word for it is. I only know ISO, or I used to call it is the sun out, but I still do
Is
sometimes.
the sun out? I like that.
Yeah, that's actually how I learned it was, is the sun out? Then you need a low one. Is it not? You need a high one.
There
And it
you
was
go.
such a like easy concept to think of. Renee's arm is sore tonight because she got a flu shot and a booster. Woo,
Oof.
that's a lot all at once. Oh,
Definitely.
goodness. Owie. Olivia writes, owie.
Owie, owie, owie.
Ooh, Jan says try hot pads on it. I've heard it works.
Look at the little fox.
The fox is so cute.
It's so cute.
You know what's interesting is you've added the fox in and then that leaf, and it brings to foreground the bottom leaf.
Yeah.
That leaf that, like, I had looked past that one, but now that you've added the other colors, that kind of brings it forward, almost makes that visual triangle going on. They would have done pneumonia too if I'd wanted it. Oh, my poor niece has pneumonia right now. She's not doing good.
Uh-oh.
So it's COVID pneumonia. She's in her 20s, but she's not doing good. Hopefully she starts doing better soon, but her mom ended up having to go out and helping her because she's like, can't even take care of her toddler at this point. She's so weak and not doing well. I'm like, oh no. Oh, the little deer and the owl are so cute.
They are all cute. It's just so cute. So cute, so cute.
Oh, Jan says her youngest got COVID pneumonia. He was really sick, but he's okay now. That's good. I'm glad he's okay now. It's gonna, I mean, I don't remember having pneumonia, like anybody in my family having pneumonia, but man, pneumonia itself is just kind of scary, I guess.
Yeah, Daniel had it when he was in 5th grade, and he missed like 10 days of school.
Oh.
And they put him on the truancy list. Guess who wasn't happy about that? I'm like,
oh, Miss
y'all?
Cheryl, I can't imagine what your conversation with the school.
I was like, why do you have him on here? Can't you see what his, why he was out and that he hasn't been out like this? And they were like, once they're on, they're on. So pretty much all the way through middle school, he was marked as a truant.
That's ridiculous.
Yep, they sent me letters and I was like, great, thank you. Thank you for playing.
So randomly, this is hilarious. I was talking to somebody yesterday who was telling me a story about her sister in South Carolina and how her kid got sick. And like whatever it was one of those illnesses that takes a while to recover. And so she ended up just sending in the paperwork to the school and said, forget it, I'm homeschooling. And then re-enrolled her in school after because she was put on the truancy list. And they were like, well, she's truant. She's missing too many days of school. She's like, the damn kid's sick. I can't bring her to school. What do you want me to do with her? Like, You don't want her sick like this at school. What am I supposed to do? So she
Well,
just said, fine, pulled her out, put her in the homeschool group, and then sent her back. Like, just said she was homeschooling her. And then as soon as she was healthy again, sent her back and re-enrolled her. And I'm like, it's really sad that you have to start thinking, like, playing it that way.
right?
So I'm like, that's just not cool.
No, I agree. That is not
Ooh,
cool.
Renee said she had pneumonia 12 years ago and got a pneumonia shot the next fall, but now she's over 65. It's recommended she gets it again. Cheryl says her father has been hospitalized for pneumonia a number of times, and quite a few times over the last few years. Of course, he's 92 now. That's got to be a little scarier when they're older like that and can't breathe.
Right. No, I think nowadays the school is much more okay if you're out sick.
I don't know. They were like, so Matthew missed those 3 days in a row.
Yeah,
And, he had to be, we took COVID tested him and he was normal. He just was out with a really bad, like, I don't know, cold, flu, something. I don't think it was flu. I think it was just a cold.
yeah,
But they didn't seem too impressed that he missed the dates. And I'm thinking, it's your rules. He can't be there. But he
right.
got lucky because we went into fall break. He would have missed 6 days of school, 7 days of school before his fever was broke enough that they would have taken him back. So I'm like,
Oh,
your fever protocols are what say he can't be there until 24 hours without a fever. So if it doesn't break until the middle of the day, then you're not supposed to send them the next day, you know?
so
Oh, Jan.
ridiculous.
They had to get a chronic illness form filled out for their daughter. That finally got the school off their backs. She's like, I wish we'd been told we could do that when she was in 3rd grade. That's what I wondered is what do they do with people who have like leukemia and stuff and have to be out for chemo or like not MS, what was I thinking? Cystic fibrosis and stuff. Like those kids
Yeah.
miss quite a few days of school just because of the nature of it. And that's not their fault. I did not know that there are chronic illness forms. That's good to know. Cheryl says he hates to go to the doctor, so the last time she told him to either get in the car or she was calling 911. I love it. Get bossy with your dad. Do you live by him now where you moved? It's when I always realize that I've known some of you people for a really, really long time. Is when I'm like, oh yeah, you've like moved, or oh yeah, your kid has grown up, and it's like the years I don't think about how many years I've known you. Like Cheryl,
Right.
I totally met you just like a couple years ago, and I don't stop and think about the fact that that was like 6 years
She's
ago
like,
now.
no.
Like my kid was little when I met you. But it's just funny because I'm like, oh yeah, Cheryl moved, Jan moved. Renee hasn't moved, but you got your teeth and you've gone through you got your new puppies that are so adorable and cute. I'm like, just all these bits of life that you go through with people. It's so fun.
Okay, so go all the way to the back.
Jennifer graduated, and Olivia graduated.
Oh my gosh.
Renee, yeah, that's right. Renee's retired since I've known her too. I forgot about that too. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's crazy when you stop and think about all the bits of life that you go
Right?
through, My how many moves have you known me?
So many.
How many moves have you known me? Jan says her daughter missed more days than she went the last couple years she was in school. So they allowed her to kind of drop out at age 16 because schools couldn't come back after her, and then went back and got her GED. She was in the top percentage of graduating seniors after being out of school that long. That's awesome, Jan.
Wow.
Yeah, our conversation the other day revolved around how I totally understand why they do things like the truancy and stuff, because they're trying to catch those kids who fall through the cracks. But it really sucks when it pulls in these other kids who, you know, like the chronic illness kids or the kids who just have parents who take them places.
Right.
Like, I remember my parents taking us out of school and the school being like, well, they should really be in school. And my mom looking at them and saying, I love my mom. She's kind of sassy. But she looked at them and she said, I would rather my kids learn about a state by driving through it and seeing it than seeing a piece of paper on a map that has a color on it.
I love it.
Oh yeah, it was fabulous. But because we were, I don't even remember where we were traveling to, but we were going to be going through like 3 or 4 different states. And so my teacher finally just said, okay, guess what? You're just going to write about everything you see and write about the different things. And, you know, it'll be kind of like a geography type project or whatever. So I just had to keep a journal, which at this point is really cool to look back and see because my mom actually kept that journal for me. So I have this journal of this little trip we took during school. But oh wow, Renee found out her replacement just put in her 2 weeks notice and she's only been there for 4 years at her old job.
Oh,
That's crazy.
well then.
That did not last long. Oh, Jan says her daughter took a semester of college and was a straight A student. That's awesome. And that's what's hard is it's like some of these kids, it's just they can't be there, but that doesn't mean they're not learning what they're learning. Just because your help doesn't allow you to be there all the time.
Oops.
See, I love that wooden camera, Cheryl. It just makes me so happy.
Right, it's so cute.
It is. I'm telling you, I'm a sucker for a kit with a camera. I've talked myself out of having to buy all of the kits that have cameras in them. Because yeah.
Well, because it's part of our little hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That seems awful bold.
What does?
None. Okay. That stamp.
Maybe just fade it out a little?
Yeah, usually it shows like that if I have like that on. But no, I guess it's just,
Maybe it's because it's like the only black thing.
yeah, we're gonna
There's
reduce.
a lot of dark brown, but there's not a lot of black.
Yeah, there's just that for the title.
Yeah, and because it's not filled in at all, it doesn't feel black, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now let's see. I think she had another little tab. I think I'm gonna bring in this one.
Ooh, Renee's tech guy works at that her old job, and Moonlight's doing consulting work, so she gets all of the scoop. I
Like,
love it.
I'm in the know.
I'm in the know.
I know.
I know.
Okay. Okay.
What else is going on for everybody tonight? I can't believe it's November, personally. I'm like equal parts denial, equal parts waiting for Christmas music time and such.
I had to do a layout, and I had ahead of time, and I had to put Christmas music over it, and that was, trying to find, royalty-free music. And Libby's like, "What are you doing? You're playing Christmas music." I'm like, "Not really."
Only sort of.
But I'm ready.
Well, I mean, I know Thanksgiving's not super late this year because it's only the 25th. But, yeah. I'm kind of ready to start before Thanksgiving this year.
Well, last year, with my diagnosis and then Teresa passing, so like 2 weeks after that was mid-November, and I was like, well, I need a shot in the arm, so we went ahead and decorated like on the 16th, I think it was. And then because of all my issues after that with all the infections and then the radiation, I didn't take down Christmas till like January 20th. Was the longest we've ever had Christmas decorations up. But I did actually put up some fall decorations this year. I didn't do, I think all I did last year was Jay bought some fresh gourds and I put them in a bowl on the table, and that was that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to having a uh, little decorating time.
Olivia says she's usually Christmas music November 1st, but not this year. Maybe next week.
Yeah, she'll be ready and have hers done in no time. Well, she only has
Yeah.
one room to do too, but it's like her little studio apartment in there. A very small studio. But I love she has
With no
like,
kitchen and no.
right, bathrooms across the hall.
So it's
But
like a
yeah,
dorm room.
yeah. So she has where she
Shared bathroom
sleeps.
too, right?
Yes, and she doesn't like that at all. Having to share with your brother is terrible.
Hey, my poor kid is sharing with his grandma right now.
Oh no, he's
That's
not
actually not.
happy.
Well, he actually doesn't care because he's only an 11-year-old boy and
Right.
just barely decided deodorant should be a thing he needs today to smell good. So, you know.
Oh my God. Every time I turn around, like, are you wearing cologne? What is happening here? It does
Oh,
get better.
oh, I'm not worried about it because he honestly doesn't need it yet. He doesn't smell yet. But that
Oh,
hasn't stopped him from deciding he needs it all
yeah, it's
because the
coming.
other kids at school have it. So I'm like, well, if he wants it, why not?
Oh,
So it's kind
Olivia
of
had to
fun.
walk away from the computer because the dog, she
Oh,
has needs. She was trying to avoid her barking. But
gotcha.
she has on a little red sweater today.
Hmm.
She looks so cute.
Jan
Yeah.
says that her tree is up and decorated, but the rest of the decorations are fall. We had to have help getting things out of storage and set up before the kids headed south for an unknown length of time.
All right,
What do you mean
there
by an
she is.
unknown length of time? Oh, look at how cute.
She had her little sweater on. She got groomed. So let's see. I like this one. You can see her little fall bows on. I can't
Aw,
stand it. She looked so scruffy though before we took her.
she looks
Look at
adorable
this.
though.
Look at her. She's like, I had hair everywhere, man. Hair is
Yeah, you can't even
everywhere.
see me anymore. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had a little photo shoot today.
I love it.
He's like, come on, let's
Cheryl
talk.
says they have one bathroom. It was interesting when there were 5 of us living here. You know what? I actually grew up with one bathroom for quite a while, and at one point we had, let me think. Yep, we still had one bathroom when there were 5 kids and 2 adults.
Oh my
That was
gosh.
rough. Okay, but, and this is going to sound totally weird and slightly awkwardly gross, we lived on a farm. So if I was in the bathroom, sometimes my brothers would just go outside because we lived on a farm.
Yes.
I
No,
never,
it's still
but they,
doing it, Courtney.
no, I said it does still do it, but notice that's the first time it's done it to you, right?
It did it just a second ago, but
I know. Well, okay, but you've scrapped everything else and haven't had it do it the rest of the time.
no. But usually I only have issues when I'm trying to do this
Okay.
working.
Because I was having issues, like even when I just dragged and dropped something and went to move
Oh,
it, it would do the whole, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what is it doing?
what is happening here?
So, yeah. Oh, that's yay, Jan. They get to come home in a couple of weeks. I totally get that, not knowing if they're going to be home in time for Christmas or not. But yay that they will be. That's a bonus. And hopefully that still gives you time to decorate with them. Boys love to pee on a tree. Yeah, especially when it's mom sanctioned, so they know they're not going to get in trouble.
They're
Yeah.
like, nope, I'm just going out.
I'm going outside. I'll be back. So luckily we moved. We didn't live that way too long before we moved into a place with 2 bathrooms, but it was an experience. How about that?
It was an experience, she says.
hmm But going back to your comment, Cheryl, about the shadow thing, it
Yeah,
is still on their list to fix. I check in on that thread every so often, and it is still on their list to fix at Adobe. So it is something they are aware of.
like,
And
come on, man.
I know somebody said, "Why haven't you fixed it yet?" And they're like, "Well, it took us a little while to isolate it." Like, okay. You may want to go in and comment in there though, and just add that it's happening to you because you're on Windows 11 now.
Yeah,
So if they're specifically looking for a Windows 10 fix, it may not
like, no,
help
it's still
you.
happening in 11.
Yeah,
Yeah, would you send me that link to
sure.
wherever that is? And I'll
To
be more than happy to post.
You make it
Okay,
sound so sketchy. Send me a link to, wherever that is.
wherever that is, and I will say something. I will tell them exactly what I think, and then I am sure they will have it fixed the next day because I am important. Wrong.
Would that it were so easy. Wouldn't that be
Correct.
nice?
It should.
Chances they could never survive with only one bathroom.
Oh
I think
no.
it's interesting the things you survive with like when you think about them, you're like, oh, I could never do that. But then like it's not a big deal and you do it. But you don't even think about it being a big deal once you're in that situation. It's kind of
Well,
weird.
I like, that tiny house living until
hmm
they start showing the bathrooms in some of
hmm
them. And there's like one. So it'd be great if you were living by yourself. But,
hmm
if you have a spouse or whatever, it's like, get out of the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, or even if you're trying to cook for more than one person. I don't understand how these people who have like 2 kids and 2 adults, I'm like, do you eat sandwiches all the time? Because that stove is literally big enough for one pan.
Right.
Like, what are you cooking? What are you eating?
I've found a lot of them are, they eat a lot of fresh produce.
hmm
But I'm like, if you're out in the woods somewhere, don't you have to have some kind of preserved foods? And I
Well,
don't
or are you running to the store like every 3 days?
I think I could handle the tiny homes, the ones that are like they bought like an old school bus and they paid $5,000 for it. And then they start showing you the house and you're like, oh my gosh, that is so functional, beautiful, lots of room in the bathroom, lots of room for the kitchen. It's,
hmm
some people just have it laid out perfectly and then they'll ask them, so how much did you, invest in all your,
Upgrades.
building of the inside? And it's like, oh, it's about 50,000. So you're like, you're driving around a $55,000 home.
Yeah.
I don't know. That scares me. The way people drive, I, it would be my luck. Be like,
Yeah.
I'm moving from this campground to this site, and then kabam.
Yeah. That's true.
But I do enjoy watching them, so I'll continue watching them because
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it's fun to see how other people live and go, could I actually do that? Could I do
maybe
that?
not, maybe not, maybe. I keep feeling like there's something not quite right here, so I'm gonna
Maybe under the camera?
I'm gonna pull this little one in under the fox and the camera.
Try living on a boat with 5 people. Yeah, I don't think
Oh,
I want to do that.
but
Number one,
everybody has their things. Okay, this should not. Why is that all the way at the back? That needs to be up above that. Dang it. I got some lag here today.
yeah, you do.
Lord. Okay. That turned out cute. I like the little animals. The little aminals.
One of our people in the forum lives on a boat, but I don't think she has 5 people. I think it's just the 2 of them.
I've seen some really nice houseboats that people have created, and I love the alternative living, that people are moving away from the McMansions and big homes and finding they don't have to have all that space.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, this is 1,500 square feet, and I want a little bit more so I can have a craft room office.
Hmm.
So I would
I
love
could see
to.
that.
Yeah. So we were kind of going to do that with the den, but then Jay's out here with his computer, and yeah, it's
I
good.
get that.
Oh,
You're talking
hi.
about the girl who turned the dining room into a office.
Come here. Come here.
But that was because we had 2 dining rooms, and nobody needs 2 dining rooms.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to stop the recording.
Bye-bye.
See you next time. Actually, next time will be during our Document Year December, so keep a watch in the forum because there'll be a special session of that.
Yes, there will.
And
In
it's going
about
to
2
be
weeks.
on a Sunday.
A week and a half.
What?
I
Gosh, it's coming
know.
so quick.
It
All right.
is.